Hey everybody, I'm Nick Boris, and I am the creator of Define My Day. I am coming to you today to talk about how to plan for the next, 8 to 12 weeks, given that we're probably going to be stuck at home, working from home, whatever your situation might be, maybe, unfortunately, even not working at all. But whatever your current circumstance is, chances are it's changed dramatically over the past couple of weeks. So, in this session today, we're going to talk about how we adjust for that and how we can plan out what we're going to be doing for the next 3 months. You don't have to be a Define My Day user to go forward with this. I am going to be using a Define My Day book to help me plan this out, but it's mainly going to be in the notes section, so you can have any lined paper or just plain piece of paper and go through this process. I wanted to make this incredibly simple. So we're going to go through this, and it's just to like get it out on paper and somewhat organized so that we can get it out into a plan for ourselves. So we're going to go ahead and do that. But before we get into it, I'm going to let people hop on and just kind of give you guys all an update on where we've been. Um, like anybody else, there's ups and downs. If you caught my live session in the user group or caught it on YouTube, last night was a hard time for me. Let my imagination go run a little wild with what the negative possibilities might be. And it was, it's not always easy. It's not always easy. But, this morning I'm back on track. I went to bed early and just slept it off, I guess. Um, but back on track and back to doing what we need to do to make the best of it. I think the thing to keep in mind is that we are we're here, like we're in a situation, right? And we can try to exert control in places where we just can't gain control, and that's going to frustrate us. And I know we all have a need for security, um, and this is a scary time. But if we do what we need to do for ourselves to stay healthy, we can navigate that just a bit better. There are going to be ups and downs. There's going to be stressful moments. There's going to be arguments. There's going to be panic. But we need to control what we can so that we navigate the best way possible. So, looking at the comment, hey, Lori, how are you? Hi from Michigan. I hope things are going well there. I hope it's warmer there. Today, we're getting into the 60s, tomorrow 70s, although it's supposed to rain. But my kids are really excited at the opportunity to go outside. Um, and my one son was very upset with me yesterday because at 5 o'clock I told him I would go out and it started raining like 2 minutes before we were going to walk out the door. And he was really upset with me for not making time earlier. So uh, that's going to, for me, fall into kind of what we're talking about today. Um, how are all you guys? How's everybody doing out there? Are we in good shape? I know it's stressful, but how are you handling all of it? Deborah, glad to see you. Thank you very much. Bonnie, you're welcome. Thanks for joining me. I appreciate you being here. Thank you. Um, yeah, we're going to go into it. I think that the main thing that we need to focus on now is that we need to adjust our focus. We are whatever our plans were, they might have to change. But that doesn't mean that our purpose and our values have to change. In fact, I think this is a good opportunity to readdress or reassess what our purpose every day is. Hopefully, we will be taken care of in the short term through government response, through the companies that we work for, um, and hopefully that there will be some financial stability for the next few months. Um, if that's the case, then I would take that opportunity to address that purpose and values and understand that now we've given almost a gift in time to do what we need to do around the house, re-educate ourselves, learn to appreciate what matters most in life. Take that time. Maybe we were moving really fast. A lot of people have posted about that we've been moving so fast. This is an opportunity to get back to basics. So there can be a silver lining to a lot of this. But I think if we act in accordance with our values and our purpose, no matter what happens, we will feel okay with ourselves. Viktor Frankl says you can get through anything with a sense of purpose. It's when you don't have a sense of purpose is when the suffering doesn't mean anything. So what your purpose is now will carry you through whatever stress and heartache and hardship you're going through. So identify that purpose, work on that. And we've talked in the group about books that you can purchase to get that. You can buy Viktor Frankl's book, Man's Search for Meaning. Parker J. Palmer is one that I read a few years ago. Let Your Life Speak is the name of that book. And even Simon Sinek's books, although they're more focused on groups and business, they still are applicable. Start with why, and then find your why is a workbook to help you work through that process. So, work on that. Start there. And if you're going to spitball some of the things that you want to accomplish in the next couple of months, clarifying your purpose would be number one on my list. All right, let me check the comments real quick. Bonnie, good. Diana, hi, Nick. Cold and rainy in New Hampshire. Sorry to hear that. I've had a lot of that too. I know exactly what that's like. Hopefully we will be coming out of it. First day of spring. Ups and downs for sure. Absolutely, Kathy. Taking it one day at a time, Faith. I hear you. And Anna says, hi, everyone. Hi, Anna. Good to see you again. And Lori says, doing okay so far. Just got lots of groceries and I'm hunkered down taking care of 4 bottle baby kittens and 2 kids. Oh, you are keeping yourself busy. Yeah, we're hunkered down too. We got food, got an adequate amount of toilet paper, not too much. In fact, there's somebody now that posted a website. There's like a toilet paper calculator website, and it tells you like you put how many rolls you have and how often you go to the bathroom, and it calculates how many days worth of toilet paper you have. It's pretty funny. Stacy says, hi from New Hampshire. I was doing well up until yesterday when they closed my gym. You inspired me to get back to the gym despite health challenges. Sorry about that. I'm not sorry about it, but sorry that it closed in it just when we started getting rolling, right? Was happy I was seeing progress. Lost 6 inches off my waist and 14 overall. Wow. Doing great on meditations. All of a sudden, I feel unraveled. I'm glad you were doing this. It's a struggle to get on track, but I'm getting to the piles of stuff I haven't been able to get to. I'm in the same place. So I haven't been measuring inches, but I have been taking my weight every so often. And in the past 2 weeks, I'm down like 8 pounds. I think I have this underlying need to, I have this instinct to ration. So I even found myself last night, I had stuff on my plate and then I found myself putting it back in the container. I only need this much. So if anything, this is definitely helping me, understand that we need to make things last. I have not been exercising like I want to, and that's going to be on my priority list moving forward, getting into next week. Carrie says, hey, Nick, one day at a time in Texas, the governor just shut down all schools until at least April 3rd, so I'm sure we'll be starting online learning soon. Yeah, and a lot of people are saying now that they're just don't even plan on coming back this school year. And I'm not planning on it. I think it's going to be at least a couple of months, and I think that's even on the bright side. Pam says, cold and rainy in the Chicago suburbs. I listened to your podcast during my daily walk today. Thanks for the ideas and inspiration with your 6 questions. You're welcome. I can't take credit for that. I don't know where they came from. Somebody else shared them, and there's no attribution on those 6 questions. So I can't say that I came up with them. I just thought they were very good. So I can take credit for sharing it, and I can take credit for talking about it, but that's about it. So, I wish I knew who that was. But yeah, so yeah, it's adjusting. It's adjusting. And what happens, like Stacy, we're talking about, we finally get on that routine and then we're thrown off. And it's weird. I wonder, when I read that, I wonder if it makes it so that the people that never had routine in the first place are better able to adjust to not having routine again. like, just a different non-routine. I never thought about that. I'd be interested to hear if anybody in here is terrible at having routine and found that they were just going all over the place. Do you find that this is just a little bit more of that, just different? Or, are you that, like for me, I've always viewed my routine as something that I can adjust, but that it would be what carried me forward. In fact, that's one of the first points I have on here is that the first thing we want to try to do is maintain a healthy routine. But what if you never had one in the first place? Are we still going to be okay? Are we even better maybe? Are we just better than everybody else? I don't know. I think we all have a routine. We might just not even be aware of it. And then when it completely gets upended and we don't have any common thread or steady thread through the whole thing, it gets a little crazy, more crazy, and we maybe not even aware of it. Anna, one of the upsides I have had happen is my daughter, a teacher, has adopted Define My Day to help guide her through the transition to online learning. That's awesome. Good for you. Joining from California, Cecilia, thank you for joining. Doing the same there. Yep. I have a routine, and I still have a routine, and it's not much different. Good for you, Faith. So mine shouldn't be different either, right? I mean, I work from home. I can't go to the gym anymore, and Luann can't come in and help us out here anymore, but she's still working remotely, and we message each other through here. Um, you know, we went out once or twice a week, and I think it's that even the idea that we can't go out is sometimes stressful. Like we were planning, like in spring, you plan on going out more. We plan on going to the pool in the summer, like all these things we were planning on doing. And now that might have changed. My kids are supposed to start sports this past weekend. So my daily routine is actually very much the same. I mean, I still try to go to bed at the right time. I try to wake up at the right time. My morning routine is the same. I sit at my desk at the same time. So, my routine isn't much different aside from having the kids home a little bit earlier than summer break. But yeah, I think it's just that feeling that I can't go outside. It's almost like being in prison. Maybe starts working on your mind a little bit. Need to consider online teaching for longer than originally planned. Yeah. So I have a catalog of courses that I've signed up for over the years. Some that I probably need to go back into, and other ones that I need to dive into now that I have more free time, you know? Hey, Tammy Lou. Good to see you. Thank you for coming. And Lindsay, never been good at goal-oriented routines. Hi, Lindsay. I know you. Yes, I feel the current situation is more easy to navigate for me than others. Awesome. That's good to hear. Awesome. And a school district isn't committing to through the end of the year closures, but I think it will happen. I think so too. I think it's a realistic thing. And I just read an article from like the MIT Technology Review. They were talking about if this is 18 months, this like social distancing might have to happen, and then they let everybody out, and then for a month until the outbreak starts to happen again, and then you social distance again for 2 months, and then you have a month off where you're allowed out again. So it's like a 2 month on, 1 month off kind of routine that seems insane to me. I have to think that they're going to come up with an antiviral or something, but they say that for the next 18 months until they come up with a vaccine, that might be what life looks like for us. That seems crazy to me. And so, if that's the case, wow. But if that's not the case, I don't know. I guess there's so many things we've been trying to get vaccines for decades. Is this something that they feel like should happen quicker, or are we, is 18 months a pie in the sky? Is 18 months realistic? Are they maybe preparing us for a worst case scenario with 18 months? I don't know. Who knows what to believe half the time. Yeah, I miss my workout pool hot tub time. Yeah, that's going to be crazy. Any activity. My kids need to burn energy. Yes, 2 nights ago, my older son dropped kicked my younger son in the chest. And I'm like, oh my God, like you guys, I can't have anybody break a bone. We're not going to the hospital right now. But they have so much energy. What are they going to do? So they're exercising downstairs, but a 20-minute workout does not replace, running around at recess or playing a football game or baseball or soccer. So I don't know. I don't know. I might buy treadmills and just have them run for a couple of hours. No, already got that one. And let's see. Warm, sunny, and humid in Dallas, Texas. Wonder how this is going to work with hubby starting working from home at 6:45 to 4 p.m. Two 14-year-olds online schooling. Man, your house is probably crazy. All in the same room, enough to stay on top of them to keep things cleaned up. I read an article about all the failures of working from home that are happening right now, and there's like people like accidentally walking naked behind their spouse, not realizing that they were on a conference call. I think a dog farted in the background in one of them, or at least they blamed it on the dog. Somebody burped and didn't realize they weren't on mute. Somebody whispered, I love you to their spouse, not realizing their mic was on. Like all kinds of funny stuff. This is going to be an adjustment for people. Blue sky and sunny in Oregon. Just went outside for a little sun before this. Good to hear. Yeah, we're overcast, but it's warm, so I'm going to get outside after this, I believe. Biggest changes is that I need to run my race virtually instead of traveling to it. That would be interesting how you do that. So you're just going to like keep track of it on like the mileage on your watch and the time? That would be pretty cool. Hi, Mary Kay. Good to see you. I feel like I haven't seen you in a long time. I miss you. And you are paying your daughter for every mile she walks, and then I get to try to win it back playing 500 Rummy. That's interesting. Good for you. Glad you didn't go on your cruise, by the way. Yeah, you might have been on the news. All right. So getting into this planning thing. So realizing that like life is different now, right? We're stuck at home. How big or small a space that is just depends on your situation. But, what we thought was important before is probably not as important right now, right? Like, or maybe it is, which that would be great because then things don't have to change. But, whatever you were planning on doing, wherever life you thought life was taking you, probably right now is facing a significant disruption. And it doesn't matter whether you like to go to the movies every weekend or like to exercise in the gym or group sessions or, you're trying to climb the corporate ladder. Whatever your goals are, right now things are different, right? And we can all agree on that. So I think, again, aligning where we want to go for the next couple of months with our purpose and our values, incredibly important. So then I think I need to ask myself, or I ask myself these two questions fairly often right now. What do I want to do with my time at home? And what can I control? So the what do I want is sort of like a want-need question. Like not what do I want, like do I want a new car? But what do I want from my time right now? What would be my best use of time? Or there's like a little sub question in there. What have I wanted? What are the things that I've not been able to do, but now that I have some extra time on my hands, I can try to go ahead and do it, right? So what do I want? And then, so the other one being, what can I control? This is a mental health question. Because if we can't control the outcome, we need to guard how much time we put into it and how much thought and worry we put into it. So what can I control? I can control my space. I can control my routine. I can control my mental health. I can control my physical health. I can control how I talk to people. I can control what I learn. So all of the things that we can do. And that starts for me with a set routine. So when we take the time to wake up at the same time every day, and we talked about this in that Gail Saltz video a couple days ago, right? Wake up at the same time every day and set your intention for the day and have a set schedule. You might be working from home now, but that doesn't mean we don't follow the same work schedule. So if you have 8 hours of work to do in a day, go ahead and wake up at your same time and work until your lunch break or whatever that might be. Take your break, hang out with the kids or call somebody, and then go back to work and do what you have to do there. Try to keep as much routine as possible, and you're going to be tempted. This is incredibly hard. You're going to be tempted to be pulled off, and especially when things don't seem so important anymore, right? What's the point? Like, the point is to keep yourself healthy. So when you are keeping on a solid routine, your thought process should be, this is keeping me grounded. This is keeping me healthy. So keep on that routine. It's hard. It's hard. And last night, man, I had zero motivation, and all I had to do, I just went to bed because I just couldn't even handle it anymore. And I just, like, mentally, I was exhausted, needed to get back to bed and try again today. So, and that's going to happen. We're going to have ups and downs, but that consistency is going to help you maintain the right mindset through this whole thing. Now, one of the frameworks I have that, like, keeps this together, one of the thoughts that helps me keep it all together is, what is my legacy in this whole thing? So, as my kids look back on this time, are they going to remember dad as somebody that was stressed out, miserable, cranky, or even unavailable? Which the past week I haven't been, because I've been trying to work and get things in order, right? And so, or are they going to think of me as somebody that was loving, that had an optimistic mindset, that no matter what happened, was determined to push through it? So, what's my legacy through all of this? My legacy could be just waking up going, who cares about any of it, and let the house fall to crap, and whatever. I could certainly do that, and sometimes it would seem easy to do that, but that's not, like, when we get through this, I don't want to look back on this time as wasted and as something that I'm ashamed of. So that for me is motivation every day to keep on going, and that again comes back from my values, right? So then how do we do it? So, it's discipline, it's routine. I want to try to feed my brain. I'm going to try to read more, learn more. I'm going to try to get outside when I can, get some fresh air. Although right now I can already feel it. My allergies, every time I open the door, walk outside, my allergies just are already going at it. I'm going to try to set a regular time to socialize. This is something we've talked about this week too. Set a regular time to socialize with people. And that doesn't mean face to face necessarily, but if you have FaceTime on your phone, you could do Google Hangouts. You could, if you have Zoom, you can schedule a Zoom call with your entire family. Whatever you want to do, you have that opportunity, or you should create that opportunity to socialize on a regular basis so that you can get the feedback, the face-to-face, like, visual feedback. It's easy when you're just listening, when you just have it on your earbuds, and you're just walking around the house. You can half pay attention to somebody, but when you're looking at somebody on your phone, then you're still sort of face to face in the same way that I hope you are when you are face to face with somebody. So I think the basic thing to keep in mind through all of this as we go through this planning is that all of these plans, they're going to be subject to a lot of adaptation as we go forward. This is going to be hard at times. It's going to be stressful. A lot of times people don't know where their next dollar is coming. They don't know how they're going to pay their bills. Hopefully there is some ease that's going to be coming from that. But then, you also start to wonder, how can the government sustain that kind of support for how long? So, there's a lot of thoughts that happen, and it's going to be hard. But I think the more we stay centered through this, the easier it will be for us. And it's not that it's going to be easy at all, but just the idea, going back to Viktor Frankl, if you have a sense of purpose, a reason for going through it, a reason for your suffering or pain or struggle, it makes it just a little bit easier to get through. You can add a purpose to the pain, I guess, is kind of where you're saying there. Let's see, Lindsay. There's a fitness program through Real Appeal that is free through a lot of health insurance companies. There are weekly virtual classes with a coach, but the biggest benefit at the time is the exercise videos that they upload every week. They range from cardio to strength training and flexibility. You get a free kit with some things you can use at home. It's definitely going to be a godsend now that gyms are closed. That's a really good idea. I didn't know about that. So there you go. Real appeal, and it's free through a lot of health insurance companies, guys. So if you're looking for something that you want to pay for, I know, we've paid in the past for at-home stuff, and it gets to be a little bit pricey. So yeah, a free option through insurance is really nice. All right, so let's get started. So with this planning process, let's assume that we have, they say 2 weeks, it's probably going to be longer. Let's say that we have shelter in place in effect, or self quarantine, whatever you want to call it. There's different terms that are going on out there. But let's just say we're going to be limited to our house, except for, if we have to go to work for something, if we're a person that has to go out, or we have to go to the grocery store. So, what I figure, I'm looking at like all of my plans that I had are subject to change. So now, looking around, what can I do with this time if I can't leave my property for the most part? And so, what I wanted to do was start spitballing my options. So, I have a Define My Day book here, and we go back to the notes page. And I started this off so I didn't have to go through like trying to think of things while you guys were waiting for me. Don't focus, focus, focus. Come on now. There we go. All right. So here we go. So I spitballed mine in a way that segmented it into different categories. So I have what can I do outside of my house? I wrote down things like pick up the leaves, cut the hedges, pick up the branches. I have to rebuild a retaining wall that's in my backyard. The outdoor furniture needs to be cleaned and set up and maybe even repaired, depending on how that looks. I want to plant a garden, right? Inside, we need to pack for our move. We need to collect donations. We need to call the painter to paint the house. We need to organize the basement. We need to clean the screens. We need to clean my office, organize my office. Kids' activities. We want educational options. We have to create a schedule for them. We want to figure out online options for art, science, and math. To keep up with what's going to happen with school. We want to create some outdoor activities for them and some indoor projects that they have to do. The next page I have cancel any wasted expenses. So if there's some things that I need to get rid of, reoccurring charges on my credit card. We're going through our credit card bills and just turning anything off that we don't need. Set up a work from home space. I luckily already have that, but somebody else might need to do that. Decide on an exercise plan. Lindsay just helped us out there, I think. Online learning. So I'm going to go through all my online learning courses and decide which one I want to go through. Come up with a food plan. So we have a set amount of food that we have right now. I want to try to limit the times I go to the grocery store. So, what's our plan for food? How far do we want to plan that out? Is there anything we need? Anything that we need to keep going back for? Stuff like that. I'm pretty sure the people that have 13 gallons of milk probably don't need to go anywhere anytime soon. Are there books that I need? Are there books that I want to read? Myself, I have a backlog of books, and that's part of the thing that I'm going to build into my routine. From a business perspective, schedule regular team Zoom calls, review and edit our business budget. I'm sure that's changing for a lot of people. Spitball new ideas sort of in the same way, just from a business perspective. Clean up waste, again, financial waste, whatever waste we might have in the business. Speak to the bank if you're looking for maybe getting a loan or some kind of help, the way that they're talking about offering from the government. And what are the opportunities in this situation? We have opportunities to help people, employees, other businesses. How can we get help? I've seen businesses online asking for help, like, hey, I'd appreciate it if you schedule an appointment. Could you possibly prepay for an appointment? There's a hairdresser that I follow that has been asking for help. How can we support other people? How can we grow? And this isn't necessarily grow the business, although there is an opportunity for a lot of people to find places to offer more from a business perspective. But we can also grow in other ways. How do we grow our contributions to society? Which is probably a big one, I think, that a lot of people are feeling right now. So this was just a a quick spitball that I did in like 5 minutes, of all the potential things that I could do with this process. Now, I'm gonna try to get this because it looks funny if the angle's off. But what we can do here with this process now is go through this and decide. So if like right now we're mid-March. So I'm going to say my options are March, April, May, right? So we're going to have, say, the 15th through the 15th and kind of go about it that way. And I'm going to plan on this beginning next week. So next Sunday is kind of where I'm going to start my timeline. So it gives me a couple days to recuperate and maybe even screw around a little bit. But so leaves, I'm just going to mark, and maybe we put May, actually just spell out May. But so I'm going to put like when I think I can get to each one of these things. So this is going to be March. Hedges we'll call April. Branches we'll call March. Wall I'll call May. Furniture we'll call March. Garden is definitely a May. Packing the inside is a March. Collecting donations is March. Calling the painter is probably April. Organize the basement March. Clean screens, we'll call that April. Clean office we'll call March. Kids activities, that's going to be just about all March, so I'm just going to take it the whole way down. This again, March, 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 March through, we'll call it through May. Food plan March, books March, March. Oh man, we got a lot of March going on here, don't we? So you can see what I'm doing here. So now, as March piles up, right, we have to start putting it in some kind of a priority. And what you can do, there's a couple of different things you can do here. You can write out a column for March, and we can start saying, okay, I'm going to do leaves, blah, blah, blah. So we write it all down here. And then we can start making an order. You can write number 1, number 2, number 3, 4, 5, 6, like however you want to order it. And that's sort of taking you're making it, creating your own priority list, right? And so I'm going to take this one section to keep it simple. I'm going to take this one section for the outside stuff. So if we take the outside stuff, we're going to just take it so that we make, like, the number one thing I have to do is the leaves and the branches. So I'm going to make that one thing because that can all be done. They all put in the same bags and all that stuff. Now, as I start to think that through, do I have the bags, right? So do I even have the bags to start? So you see, I'm going to make this a point real quick when we talk about priorities and tasks. So in your Define My Day book, you have, if cleaning up the leaves now is becoming your priority, I got to find a blank page because I was doodling a lot in here. All right. So in here, can you see that? Nope, blown out. Oh man, there we go. Okay. Our priority number 1 might be leaves and branches, but we can't even get that started until we get bags, right? But we can't even, like, we don't want to get to that point where we step outside ready to do it and then go, oh, I don't have bags, or I don't have a rake, right? So your priority might be, like, once we think through like what that looks like, then we can start to think about all the things we need to get that done. So do I have bags? Do I have a rake? Do I have gloves? Do I have off if you're worried about ticks? So there's that list of supplies. So then your priority for the first day, your milestone for the week might be clean up the backyard. So when we go to the beginning of the week, come on now. When we go to the beginning of the week, oh man. All right, right here. Milestones I need to achieve this week. Now your goal for the month might be clean up outside, right? So for this one might be outside, do all the outside work. Might be spring cleaning maybe is the monthly goal. But for the week, it's going to be clean up leaves. And so then the priorities for the day might filter down to priority number 1, get supplies. And then one of the other goals might filter into priority number 2. So we go to here So we have to get the supplies for this. That's priority number one for day one of the beginning of the week. If what's the other one? Outdoor furniture. Well, we don't need any supplies for that, right? We just need to clean it. So as long as we have dish soap or whatever, and we're cleaning the cushions and we want to put it out, hopefully your furniture isn't in storage. You might have to drive to storage, but so we can get this one done and get it off our list. And then we have to get the supplies for this, and then maybe later in the week when the weather is nice, it gets scheduled as a priority. And then we don't even have to worry about the hedges. We'll just look at them until April. The wall, that wall in the back of our mind, we're going to be looking at it going, well, I really need to rebuild that wall. But, we have already decided it's May. So that's off of our mind. It's gone. We don't have to think about it anymore. We can even schedule it in May if you want. If you have a Define My Day book hanging around, an extra one for, the next month, write it down. Like, go forward, predate it, right? Go forward and write down, priority for May is going to be, or one of my goals for May is going to rebuild the wall, right? We go inside, we go back here too, right? We go packing as a priority. Donations as a priority for March. These ones don't have to think about it. Call the painter, that's off my mind. I can schedule that for sometime in April. Clean the screens, I'll look at them. They have fuzz all over them. That's okay. We're going to address that in April. Don't even need to worry about it. So then as you're going through this prioritization, we gain a kind of a visual in our mind, and it doesn't look like it's so piled up. You can write down, if you're spitballing all of your stuff right now, as you're going through this, in your mind, as you're filtering this stuff out and you're putting it in March, April, May, or even June and July if you want, your brain is naturally going, right? There's a plan. It's a loose plan so far, but there's a plan. And so we can adjust it as things come up. But if we're saying something as simple as the screens get cleaned in April, then, when you're walking around the house and you're going, I need to clean my office, I need to get the leaves outside, I need to clean the screens, I need to call the painter, when it's just a big list, your brain's overwhelmed. You're stressed out. You don't know where to start. And a lot of people's response to that is procrastination. Well, rather than address any of it, because I can't address all of it, rather than address any of it, I'm just going to put it off till tomorrow. I'll wait till I feel better. That's one of these, baby. No, we can't do that, right? We have to start making a plan, a loose plan. This is simple, right? This is not a complicated process. This is, you write down everything that is on your mind and put it on a piece of paper and go through this process. I want to handle this in March. I want to handle this in April. I want to handle this in May. Hey, by the way, there's something on here I don't ever want to do. I'm never going to have time for that. Organize my basement. Yeah, I put it in March, but you know what? Am I really going to do that? Does that matter? Maybe I'll put that as if I get around to it. I'm not going to write it down anywhere. And then when I walk into my basement and go, man, this place is a mess. And I say, well, you know what? I gave myself permission. I have all these other things I'm going to do. And when I do all of these other things, I'm going to feel so good. When I walk into my basement, I'm not going to care. Right? And we're talking about just things at home because we're all stuck at home. So, that's all things at home. But this works with business also. If you have an at-home business, or if you're working from home, there's a list of things that you need to do, right? And if you look at if you're thinking about the entire list, it's overwhelming. Get it down on paper and start going through this process of filtering things out into what you can do now, what can wait. And the minute you set a plan for it to wait, your brain is going, yep, I'm good. Let's go. Let's handle the thing we said we were going to handle. And you let that thing go. That doesn't mean that sometimes something's not going to come up that you have to adjust and bring it forward. That can happen. Priorities change. But if we can kick it out and get rid of it for a while and you have that plan, your mind is going to let go of it. Let me see. I'm going to catch up with comments real quick here. You made your list over the weekends. 4 categories are personal, professional, household projects and tasks, relaxation and fun, and movement and exercise. That is excellent. Good for you. Good for you. And then Lori I love this idea of feeling overwhelmed with everything I have to do, along with making sure the kids aren't in front of the screens all day. This is awesome. Thank you so much. You're welcome. You're welcome. And it's like seems so simple, right? So I was going through a couple of processes where like they were using like the Covey quadrant, which is really effective. It's important versus urgent and unimportant. Check that out. It's a very good way of planning, but it's almost too much. And that's my whole thing with Define My Day. We're trying to make it easy. We just want to make it easy. So writing this stuff down, put it out there, and we did that. In fact, I'm looking at it on my wall. Our strategic planning, we planned out 2020 in the beginning of the year and wrote down everything we could possibly do. And then we put, what is going to be handled now, what's going to be handled in the second quarter, what's going to be handled in the fall, which should just wait until 2021, right? Now, I mean, who knows? Like, we need to do this again. In fact, we probably, one of the first things on our list might be, let's redo this entire thing and go over it and see where we are. So we have everything on there from, finding a new office, hiring somebody for fulfillment, which obviously we're not going to do at the moment. How we're going to handle weekly meetings, sale and promo schedules, blog, videos, emails, courses, workshops, like all the stuff we're thinking about doing, all of that is going to get messed up. We have to go through this whole thing again. But I still have that list right now, and I can still see the priorities that were there, and it'll remind me of how we maybe need to address it going forward. So keep that in mind. As you go through this process, all of it can change. And, if you're going to write on here, let's go here. For this week, I want to clean the yard. All right, that's leaves and branches, right? Now, if it rains all week and that needs to change, just erase it. You don't have to. None of this. And that's the beauty of some of the flexibility we have right now, and that like the world is upside down, is that we can erase it and put it to next week. And if you want to go ahead and go forward to the next week and pre-fill it in here, you can do that. A lot of people pre-fill in their entire book as they come up with a plan. And if you write it in, my writing's messy, but as you write it in, you can always erase it and put something else there if you feel like things need to adjust. So, if aliens attack, which I would not, we might seriously be invaded by aliens next week. I might not be shocked by that. If that's the case, I don't care what my yard looks like, right? And look, if the zombie apocalypse happens, I don't care what my yard looks like. My priorities are going to change. But my purpose is always going to be the same, right? My purpose is taking care of my family and taking care of you guys, right? That's my purpose. Like that's the two things I'm focusing on right now. And so if the zombie apocalypse happens, I am going to grab my family, run out of the house, and at some point when I'm hiding, I'm probably going to get on my phone and go, everybody get out of the house. The zombies are coming, right? And it's like, and right in your Define My Day, my priority is not getting eaten. But, my priorities aren't going to change. But as like, how does cleaning my yard, how is that, related to my priorities and purpose? Well, if we have limited space, cleaning my yard and giving my kids a clean space to be outside is a priority, right? Creating a beautiful environment for myself and my kids where we can relax, that's a priority for me. I'm trying to think of like what changed, what priority was taken, or what activity was taken away. Coaching my kids stuff, obviously that can't happen. But there's different things that you can do, that how it changes a little bit. But so this is simple. This is really simple. And it's supposed to be simple and easy. So how you do this is spitball everything that you could possibly do in the next 12 weeks as it relates to what's important. You might like what's important and how it aligns with your goals and values. You are going to find on this list things that you can kick out until the fall, or that you're not even going to worry about until this whole crisis is over. And that's okay. When you get it off your mind, it makes things easier. After you do that, you bucket things, like you spitball your list, you bucket things into what month you want to put it in. And once it's in the month that you want to put it in, you order them in the order that you want to address it. So there's certain things that are going to come one after another. Like one thing has to be done before the second thing is finished. Or one thing is going to be broken down into parts, right? Get supplies for cleaning up the yard. So break it down as much as you can and then fill it in for your day. Because what happens is, like I said, if we go step outside to clean up the yard and then realize we don't have what we need, we don't have a rake, we don't have bags, we don't have gloves, we don't have off, like we don't have the things we need. It only would have taken us a half an hour, even like you could probably order it on Amazon, right? But it would have only taken a half an hour. But now because we walked outside just to do it on a whim, or even planned but not thinking it through, then now we've lost that time. And what happens is when we say, oh, now I don't have the stuff, so I have to go adjust and do something else, that's when we start to creep into, well, I guess my plans are shot. I'll just, whatever, I'll sit in front of the TV. Or, I will do, like whatever, right? Not having a plan in place gives us the opportunity to just blech. And when we blech, we tend to continue to blech. So if we take a little time to plan it through the way we're doing here, we don't find ourselves in that rut, and we can continue moving forward, and we feel better for it, right? None of the stuff I'm talking about is stuff that I don't want to do. It's not stuff that is not going to make me feel better. And that's the beauty of this situation. If there is a silver lining to this situation right now, it's that you have the opportunity to work on yourself, to do the things that are really important to you. So look at it that way. These are not things that you're going to be like, oh, I hate doing this. These are the things that, like, you know what? I'm making a nice space for myself and my kids. I am, spending time online learning for myself because it's helping me grow as a person. And when I come out of this, look out, I'm going to be a better person. Social distancing is something that can seriously help you, especially if you're worried about peer pressure, right? So let me go back to this again. I digress. Let me go back to this again. Spitball your list. Everything that you could possibly do. Figure out the things that are not important to you at all and you're just not even going to worry about. Erase that from your list. And then organize everything else into what month you want to handle it. March, April, May. You can even go further down the line if you want. And then think each thing through. So if I want to do this, do I need anything to start it? No, yes, whatever. What are the steps that need to happen? I'm going to make this my milestone for week 1. I'm going to make this my milestone for week 2. And this is how I'm going to handle it through the month. Once I get this stuff done, I can start looking and doing this stuff. I don't have to think about this stuff over here in April because it's not happening until April. I can continue to walk past that dirty screen and never have to think about it again. Or that project for work, I don't even need to address it because nobody's going to be available to help me out with it, and we'll talk about it in April, right? That's okay. It's gone off your mind. And then as you're filtering through it, you can adjust, you can reprioritize. As things happen in the world, you can reprioritize. And if you find you're doing something and you find that it's not important, you can give it up. But as we see this gigantic list of things we have to do or want to do, we naturally start to filter it out, and we also get a feeling of importance for our time. We realize that with all of the things we're capable of doing right now, our time is still important. We might not be out doing the things we want. Life is different than it was 2 weeks ago, but we can still do a lot of important things with our time. And that's going to give you a little sense of urgency and a little sense of, yeah, right? You're going to feel better about where you're going. So let me know. Give me some examples in the comments right now. What are some of the things that you've been thinking about that you can handle going forward? Is there something right now that you thought you wanted to do or needed to do immediately, but you're going to put off until later? Maybe until after this whole thing is over, or maybe later in the summer? And is there something that you want to do right now that you're bringing forward that you think is, you know what, this would be really good for me? Like what right now is something for you that is either, you know what, you're putting it away or you're bringing it forward and you're going to handle it right now. Robin says, keyword you said, you can erase it. Set up for success and change with an erasable writing tool you like, not just how it writes, but if it erases as well. So I love these friction pens are amazing, and they even make friction highlighters too, so you can erase the highlighting. I absolutely love them. The G2 pens are the gel pens, and those are my favorite if you don't want anything erasable. But these things come in a bunch of colors, and being able to erase, I use them constantly. I don't like pencil. These things are amazing. So yeah, feel free to erase. I think that's like a key part of our process, being able to adjust, right? Yeah, the silver lining thing, absolutely. I mean, what we have to make the best of this. If I will not come out of this a worse person than I was going into it. That is not possible in my mind. That's a value, right? That's my value set. I will not come out of this a worse person. Not a chance. I might even be significantly skinnier considering how that's impacting me so far. Nobody has anything that they're working on right now that they want to talk about. Give me an example. Give me an example. I should have had you guys give me examples while I was going through it. The one of the things with routine that I wanted to talk about. Somebody brought it up this morning. They were going through the Miracle Morning. That if you have not read the Miracle Morning, if you don't have a set solid morning routine, I would absolutely recommend right now more than ever to read the Miracle Morning. That book, if you follow the steps in that book and his Savers plan, now that book is just super important. Lori, I'm going to have my kids start helping me make dinners since they don't have homework to do. I'm also going to have them help me clean the house more. That is a great idea. I'm going to put that on my list. So teaching the kids how to cook and bake and do for themselves, right? That's a big learning experience. My wife yesterday made banana chocolate chip muffins with my boys. They had a great time doing it. They cleaned off the dining room table. They laid out the flour and the bananas and the chocolate chips, and they mixed them all together. She did them, made this whole activity with them. That's never something we do normally. And it's not like my one son has helped with it in the past, but it's never been like a project. Like how I feel like it was like old world style, where everybody just got together, sat down, and went through an activity together. That's an opportunity. Like my kids are going to remember doing that during this whole thing. So yeah, and helping clean the house. Yeah, because they're not going to sit on the video games all day. So how about you help me clean the house a little bit? Pick up after yourself. Put your laundry in the hamper. Put the dishes in the dishwasher. I told my son when we get into the new house, it's got a flat yard. He's going to start mowing the lawn. So yeah, absolutely. Here's a big one. Mary Kay, save money. Even though my gym is closed, challenge myself to get even more exercise. 2 extra hours now, and I've often wished for the world to freeze while I caught up on my daily chores. So that is a sentiment that I have seen in a few places, right? Save money. I'm not paying for gas right now. We're not going out to dinner. There's a lot of things we're not doing. Put that money away, right? We don't need to spend it on anything. We're already subscribed to Netflix. We don't need any more Netflix. We might rent a couple of movies, but it'll be a fraction of the cost as it was going out. So save the money. And that commute, Mary Kay, I don't know if you got that extra 2 hours from commuting, but anybody that does commute and now doesn't have to, imagine what you can do with that time. If you took a 2-hour commute, 1 hour there, 1 hour back, and you say you did for an hour, you just said, you know what, I'm going to go to bed earlier, I'm going to watch TV. Fine, throw that hour out there and just do whatever you want. But for that other hour, you read for 30 minutes and maybe took an online course for 30 minutes, or you exercise. If you don't normally exercise, you take that time to exercise for 30 minutes. You can come out a different person. Imagine, you're never going to want to commute again. And when you do have to go back to commuting, Maybe you're going to say, you know what, that exercise thing, I feel better. I feel better about myself. I'm going to continue that up. I'm going to continue on with that. Erasable pen. These are Pilot friction pens. That we have them on our website. They come in a bunch of different colors. Black. There's a package that's like black, blue, and red. But we have like there's different pastel colors and things also. Worksheet idea just used to find my day. Have a list to check off maybe. So we're trying to develop something that takes you through the process of doing this that kind of feeds into Define My Day. It proved a little bit harder yesterday. I was going to try to get something together, but it proved a little bit harder. But so that's why I wanted to show you. We can do it in the back in the notes section, but we're going to get there where we have a downloadable for people, like a free downloadable for users to kind of feed into the book. That I think that's going to be coming, and that's something that is on my list. Motivational books you've wanted to read? Absolutely, absolutely. It's just funny. I just got 4 brand new books from Amazon like 2 weeks ago. So they've been sitting on my nightstand, and I have not been reading. I've been reading so much news and online like news that I have not been reading a book. And now that I'm overloaded on news, I can start readjusting and get back to my books. Saving money for a house. Yep, let's do it. Teaching math via measurements. Cool. Good for you. And moving up the cleaning my desk area to create a better, more inviting space for online learning and setting the stage to purge and clear unneeded paperwork. I started doing the same thing. So I've had like a stack of papers that I've needed to get through. And so I've been taking it piece by piece every day and just sorting it out into things to address, things to shred, in the different categories for things that need to be filed away. When you can sit down and things are open, like even now, like things are just more open in here. Not that I couldn't move around earlier, but just you feel a little bit tight, and that's not good. Yeah, and that's the pen, Pilot friction pens. Yeah, if you need to know how to spell it, it's Frixion. But just go to our website. We have them there. Home, clean, organized, family time, and get business running. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. In this business, there are so many opportunities to start a business now. I think we're going to look back on this and see some like that. What's the phrase? What's the saying? Necessity breeds invention. Is that it? And so, like, we're going to find a whole new set of ideas that have come out of this time period. And anybody can do it. Anybody that sits down and focuses on it enough will think of something, a problem they can solve. And if you sit down and watch Netflix all day, that's not going to happen. And I'm not saying don't watch Netflix. I'm going to watch my fair share of Netflix, believe me. But if you can sit down and think and just look for an opportunity, there are going to be a lot of new businesses that are going to spring out of this entire mess to help people get through it, or help people, or just to solve a problem they had in their own lives during this time. So I look forward to seeing what happens there. Don't go to JetPens. Yeah, from commuting. Okay, good, Mary Kay. That's what I figured. Commuting, I kind of miss commuting because I did get my podcasts in, but now I listen to them. I actually don't listen to them at the gym anymore now either. When am I going to listen to my podcasts? Make better use of your resources to limit exposure to zombies. Yep. Yeah. And that's a big one for me. I mean, I don't want to go out any more than I have to. I might have a couple of months worth of toilet paper. I'll have to go out and get fresh food every so often. And I've seen like Houlihan's put up an ad for delivery service. Man, their burger looks really good right now. I'm just a little too paranoid to have anybody deliver food to my house right now. So I'm just going to continue doing what I have with the food we have here, and we'll figure out how this shakes out going forward. That's gross, Mary Kay. Shower. I'm actually, it's funny. I'm actually showering on a more regular basis now than I was before. So before, I would wait till I went to the gym and then get back and shower, which wouldn't happen until 2 in the afternoon. I started just a few weeks ago showering twice a day, showering before I come on live with you guys because I wanted to look pretty, right? Especially since we're putting them on YouTube now. And then I started showering after coming back from the gym. But now that like this whole thing, I don't know if it's maybe just become like a one of those points of stability for me. Like every day I'm in the shower at the same time every morning. And and like I'm more dead set on that now than ever. Mary Kay. Um, I'm just giving you a hard time. You know that, right? All right. Stacy says shifting my business to mostly online. Yes. We were in, and there's an opportunity there for people that if you have an online business or haven't focused on your online business, this is an opportunity for a lot of those people. We were meaning to, but now we have to. Yeah, absolutely. And there's those things like I've been meaning to do certain things in my business that I haven't done yet, and now we have to, right? It's also interesting to me that a lot of things that we were regularly scheduled to do for work that do make us money, I've honestly been surprised that I really didn't want to do them in the first place. I hear you on that one. Um, I guess when it comes down to, I've been wanting an excuse to change sooner than later. I guess be careful what you put as a goal. You might get it sooner than you plan for it. Now I'm sort of in scramble mode, but surprisingly chill about the process. Just a strange place to be. Stacy, you and I are on the same wavelength there, and I think I've seen that with a lot of other people too. We've been trapped on this like hamster wheel for a long time, and now we have the opportunity to jump off. Actually, it kind of slammed stop, right? And now we're going, now what? And a lot of us are going, well, what about that one thing I wanted to do? So you just start doing it and see what happens. There's a lot of opportunity. This can be freeing for a lot of people. It's going to be hard for a lot of people too, but it can be freeing for a lot of people that look for that opportunity. Necessity is the mother of invention. There you go. Friction has highlighters that are erasable too. Love them. Yeah, and we actually carry a couple of different kinds. But there's like different colors. There's like pastel colors and stuff. Really late. Did not expect it to still be live. Sorry you missed us, but you can certainly, Angel, go back and watch the rest of this either here once we finish, or I will be uploading it to YouTube after this. So, but thank you for joining me. I appreciate it. Mary Kay, bad for your skin to shower so much. I know, but you know what? I think clearly in the shower, so I like to shower. There's like I read there's some Hollywood producer that showers like 13 times a day because that's where he gets all of his ideas. Maybe he's a director, I don't know. Or maybe he's a writer. I have no idea. I'm just throwing that out there. I've read that once. But I know my face gets really dry, but so I've started with like this like hemp facial moisturizer, and my wife hates the way it smells. But it works, and I haven't like a year or two ago, I used to be really pimply. Like, yeah, I'm thinking to myself, how can I be in my 40s and still look like a teenager? And so I started like a better face routine, and I feel like I'm in much better shape these days. So yeah, but I do shower every day. I enjoy my daily shower. Cool. All right, everybody. Look, I'm gonna head out. I'm gonna get to hanging out with my kids. If it's nice outside, we might go outside. If it's not nice outside, I'm gonna, maybe jump in on Fortnite and have a bunch of kids kill me in Fortnite many times over. I hope you guys are all doing well. I hope that this was valuable for you. We're going to continue this conversation going forward, and as we figure out better ways to help you plan for these next couple of weeks and months, we're going to do that. Have a great end of the day Thursday here. I hope you enjoy the time you have at home. Make the most of it. And I will see you again in the user group tomorrow morning at 10 o'clock. Take care, everybody.